Right, yeah. So this is a Patreon from Chris. Don McLean, which is American Pie guy, is right there. I was right with that. I was thinking that's American Pie guy. Vincent, and I'm. It's one of them songs where I've either just heard of it or I have heard it. I don't know. No, I'm not sure. Um, but Chris also said this is Tupac's favorite song, or one of Tupac's favorite songs. Which, to be fair, Tupac has a very. I mean, look at some of the things he sampled. He sampled I suppose that was more Dr. Dre with California Love. Woman to woman. That tune. But yeah, let's go.
Starry, starry night.
I do know this song, but I know this song just from like just that bit, I think, from TV shows. I didn't know that this was this song. I haven't heard this song all the way through. Like I say, I think I've heard maybe the first four lines of this song. So this is a good one. Let's go.
Starry, starry night. Paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills. Sketch the trees and the daffodils. Catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night. Flaming flowers that brightly blaze. Swirling clouds in violet haze reflect in Vincent's eyes of china blue. Colors changing hue. Morning fields of amber grain. Weathered faces lined in pain are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now, for they could not love you, but still your love was true. And when no hope was left inside on that starry, starry night, you took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. Starry, starry night. Portraits hung in empty halls. Frameless heads on nameless walls, with eyes that watch the world and can't forget, like the strangers that you've met. The ragged men in ragged clothes, a silver thorn, a bloody rose, lie crushed and broken on the virgin snow. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they're not listening still. perhaps they never will.
Vincent van Gogh. I think it was the second verse I worked out that that's Vincent. That's who he's talking about. I didn't know that this song was about Vincent van Gogh, but it's got to be because, like, I thought it in the second verse. I think I started to twig because I started and then I went back because it says "Starry, Starry Night." Um, do your palette of grey and blue, which obviously is that artist thing. Actually reminded me of school, that thing where you learn what mixing the colours makes, like how to make green and blue and yellow and red and purple and all these different colours. At that point, when it said that, I was thinking. I thought actually at first that's an interesting. It's an interesting way to describe something in a song through because blue and grey and saying picture clouds of blue and grey on the palette, but you've got the blob of blue, blob of grey. You mix them together, and you can see that thing of the clouds and the color that would make. You know what that color would make. I thought that's a very interesting way to paint imagery in a song, and I thought actually I've never heard anyone do that, which is kind of interesting. I've never heard anyone kind of do that, literally describing the color. But then it was like all the way through this song that you suffered for your art. That would have been a dead giveaway. He's a great songwriter, this guy, because I knew he was talking about Vincent van Gogh. Well, I suspected from the second verse, and then carrying on, I was like, this is definitely Vincent van Gogh. But then that thing, you suffered for your art. That's quite a common phrase. But in this, he said, you suffered for your sanity, which, let's be real, everyone does a little bit. Everyone suffers with their sanity a little bit at some point in their life. So it takes it away from just being about Vincent van Gogh. So you can still play like I don't know. I don't know if this is massively obvious or people knew. But then you get to the end of portraits hanging and all this sort of stuff where it's like he's being a bit more clearer that he's talking about an actual artist. And but then that's kind of crazy. This was a masterpiece. This is a masterpiece in writing. I can see why Tupac liked this song. Because ultimately it told a story, but it told a story in a very, which to be fair, hip hop doesn't necessarily do. It's kind of the opposite of that. Um, it's more telling a story in detail to you. Um, but this is like it's telling you the story of the life of Vincent van Gogh, and you took your life like lovers often do. There again, it's like you can play that as I think it might be a Romeo and Juliet reference. But again, you can apply that then to people in shitty relationships that destroy each other, basically. But it's not. It's about Vincent van Gogh and his love of his art, his true love, his love like you took your life as lovers often do. He's in a love with his art. Yeah, this was a genius song. And the what was the line? Maybe they'll listen now. I mean, obviously, I knew what you were trying to say, which is an interesting thing because Vincent van Gogh you think of as a painter. So to say I knew what you again, it's all like you. It's there. It's telling you Vincent van Gogh, but it's just a little step away. just a little step away each time. It's just not quite giving you the full thing. But yeah, when he says that, that's especially true of artists. I don't think there's any artist that we appreciate now that was appreciated when they was around. It's kind of, but then that often works too with musicians, some actors, um, pretty much all art forms where people don't appreciate them until they're not around no more. Um, I mean, you can get that on a kind of more basic level when an artist dies. Normally their songs go to number one for a little stint because it puts him back in people's minds. But yeah, that's true of artists. That's true of like so many great artists through the years of all walks, poets, um, writers. In fact, what's the story of the book where the guy wrote a book? He's a young lad living with his mum. This is like years and years ago. Wrote the book, thought it was just garbage, so threw it in the garbage, threw it in the bin, and then killed himself. And then his mum found it in the bin, sent it off to a publisher, and the book become one of the biggest selling books of all time. Um, yeah, it's kind of a common theme in life is people not recognizing someone's ability when they're around. Yeah, this song was a masterpiece. We have to do more, and like I say, I can see why Tupac liked this song. Very lyrical. Um, it's a beautiful song as well, but the way he wrote this, it was almost like a painting. It was like a musical painting describing paintings painted by a painter, painter's painter. But yeah, absolute class. This song was absolute class. That was a banger. But yeah, that's the reaction.